Hi everyone, Rob and Audrey here. We're excited about the start of spring and hope that you are too. So today we're going to talk about doing some seed starting from seeds. And I've got my box of seeds here, some peat moss little pellet seeds, and then I'm also going to teach you how to make some DIY sustainable seed starters out of your own toilet paper rolls and also gift wrap containers.
All right, so I've got the worm bucket here, and it is full of a little mix that we put together from our own homemade compost, as well as peat moss and perlite. I've mixed all that together kind of in equal parts, and then now I'm going to add some of our worm castings directly from our worm bucket. And you can just go ahead and add this. I like to scrape it right off the top. And the interesting thing about the worms or vermicomposting is worms really don't like the light. So when you take the lid off of the worm bucket and exposes it to light, the worms automatically start to move down. So you can take, if the castings are ready, you can take and scrape off that top layer, and you've got this nice micro-rich worm castings, and then we're putting in there. So I'm only going to mix maybe like, I'd say 10% worm castings, okay? So everything else, the peat moss, the perlite, and the just regular organic compost, and then a few scoops of the worm castings. And so the worm castings actually are going to mix in with the rest of this potting soil here that we've created, and they'll kind of inoculate it, Aud, with the microbes, and they'll continue to multiply and provide good nutrients and healthy bacteria for these seedlings.
So for those of you who can't see, which is all of you, Rob put in just roughly the amount of this container of worm castings into our mix. And he's right, there's no worms that have joined the mixture. They all look to be down in the worm bucket.
All right, so do you want to go ahead and start cutting our seed tubes, or our...
Sure. So we wanted to do a little bit of an experiment here. I actually purchased these regular peat pellets, which are the kind that you just add water to, and then they expand up here, so those are nice and convenient. But we're always looking for ways to be a little bit more sustainable around our everyday life. So like I said, this is a great way for you to really reuse household items that you would typically just throw away. So you can see this was just a regular standard toilet paper roll. I cut it into 2 equal pieces, and we're going to use those just like we would the store-bought ones to contain all of our seeds. So I'm going to do the same thing here with the wrapping paper roll. Again, cutting them into roughly 2-inch pieces here. And then I've actually saved some of our takeout containers. Rob and I do love takeout. So I'm putting those right in here. As you can see, some round ones, some square ones, whatever you have around the house. Again, this is just about reusing what you've already got. So once you've got, a full container here, I'm going to pass it to Rob. And like he said, he's going to add in this compost mixture that we've created right from all of the goodness that we've been harvesting in our own yard.
All right, we're going to start by doing about 1/3 of a bucket of peat moss. Now, if you don't have peat moss, you can use coco coir as well. Gold. All right, there we go.
Alrighty, so as you can see, we have now put our compost mixture into all of our little homemade seed starters and put them into their separate containers. So now the fun can begin and we can start to plant our seeds. Okay, so I am going to start with our cherry tomato mix. Let's see what these seeds look like here. I'm just gonna sprinkle a few into my hand here. They're pretty tiny. So I'm gonna try and get 1 or 2 into the center of each of my seed starters. Not every seed is going to bloom, so that's okay if you get an extra one in there. It'll increase our chances. And if we do happen to get more than one in a container, we can separate them when we plant them. So we're good to go there. And I made us some convenient little markers to show what we're planting. So I've got my cherry tomato one here. I'm just going to put it in. So next we have the regular garden bean, also known as a green bean. So these are bigger seeds, as you can see right here. I'm gonna put those into our starters. Give these beans a happy little home. Hopefully they'll yield us some delicious summer dinners. So these look great. And again, got my handy dandy little tag here so we know what we've planted. And just like that, our second container is all set. So moving on from the cherry tomatoes, I'm gonna do our Better Boy hybrid tomatoes. So these seeds look quite a bit different from our cherry tomatoes. You can see they're a bit bigger here. So I am gonna try and stick to 1 seed per starter here. Just drop it down right in the middle here. Like I mentioned before, I am gonna try and see if my homemade ones work just as well as the store-bought. So I do like to push them down just about a 1/4 inch using this little barbecue skewer. So any that are just sticking right at the tip top. Just give them a little press down. All right, perfect. All right, so as you can see, in this container, we have our Better Boy tomatoes as well as our cucumbers. So moving on, we're gonna plant our sweet peppers. These are a red or green variety. So let's see what we've got in here. Just like the seeds you would find in a pepper that you cut, right there. So I'm gonna start these in our other seed starters. And again, I'm trying to get one in each, but if you get more than one, it's not a problem. And then just put a thin layer of dirt over your seed, and you should be good to go. Alrighty, so those were our sweet peppers. Find my label here. Perfect. There we go. And we're halfway through just like that.
So Aud, do we need to water these or anything like that? How do you
Yeah, so if you recall the seed starters that we bought in the store, in order to start them, we had to saturate them with water. So those have already been wet. We can add some water now to our other seeds that we used our compost mix for. And I have that here right in this pitcher of water.
I'll do the honors.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Be careful not to pour too hard, because these seeds are at the top of our seed starter, so we could shake them up if we're too violent with our water. So not a bad idea if you put water on prior to, but since we didn't, this is second best. It works just as great. All right, so I've got my Better Boy flag here, and I'm just gonna put it on this first row so I know those are where my Better Boy tomatoes are gonna be. All right, so we are moving on from vegetables to my favorite, the flowers. We've got some yellow lupin, which I have very fond memories of my mom's house in Maine. They have the purple variety. So when I saw these yellow ones, I had to pick them up and see what happens. So we're using a little bit of a bigger seed starter here. So use your judgment. You can do a few in each of these, especially because I have, quite a few of these seeds. So Rob, do you want to give it a try too?
Sure.
And again, I have to give you props on this mixture that you've put together. It looks like the perfect habitat.
Yeah, so our mixture again was just 30% peat moss, 30% compost, perlite, and some worm castings. All right.
The math is very specific.
Just kind of eyeball it. At least that's what I did.
Perfect. So we've got our yellow lupin all planted now. And I will tag it accordingly with our handy dandy flag, just so we know what's in there. Perfect.
Well, Aud, this was fun.
It was really fun.
Now we're gonna take it next and put it in our little greenhouse. And
yeah, this is our first year using our new greenhouse. So we don't know how that's gonna turn out, but hopefully really well. So we look forward to sharing our results with you soon.
all right, until next time.
Bye.
Bye.